Okay then, last night was TNA's whole effing show. Pay-per-view quality matches on free television, or so they told us. Would it live up to their hype? Would it live up to our expectations? Well, I'm about to take you through match by match to tell you what I thought of the show and give you my overall thoughts at the end if I have enough time. So it started off with Kurt Angle versus AJ Styles. This is Kurt Angle going on his mission of beating the top 10 contenders in TNA, and then hopefully, from his point of view, kayfabe wise, it'll lead him to him facing the TNA heavyweight champion for the world title. You know, this is just leading from basically, it's a way for them to not put the title on Kurt Angle and to take the company in a new direction. So they've got the title on Van Dam. The title's obviously going to go back to Kurt Angle at some stage, but they're trying to hold off the amount of time they can wait until they give it back to him. The storyline wise goes that if Angle loses at any stage while trying to beat these 10 guys, then he'll have to retire. You know, we all know he's not going to retire. We all know he's going to beat everyone. Next up, you had Matt Morgan beating Pope and Ken Anderson in a triple threat match. I mean, following the storyline, it's nothing that amazing. I don't want to bash this match because I'm not that kind of person. I don't really like being too negative about things. But at the same time, this was nothing spectacular. It was just, you know, three guys who they just randomly thrown together. They tried to make the storyline seem important, but to me, it just seems a bit forced, and I'm not really feeling this match at all. But you know, Morgan got the win over Pope and Mr. Anderson. Match number 3, Jeff Hardy issued the open challenge to anybody in the wrestling world to challenge him. Now, I've heard rumours that Gregory Helms was going to turn up. He's turned up in TNA pretty soon. And then Shannon Moore comes out, and I'm thinking, this is a bit rubbish, you know. Shannon Moore, he'd issued the challenge to anybody in the wrestling world. They could have brought in anyone. They could have brought in some guy from Japan who's pretty decent. For example, off the top of my head, I'd say Masato Yoshino. He's one of my favourites from Dragon Gate. I was going to say Dragon Gate USA, but yeah, he wrestles in both USA as well as in Japan. So yeah, Masato Yoshino, they could have brought in anybody like that. Anybody from Japan, from Mexico, or an indie guy just for one night, have him go against Jeff Hardy, push him to the limit, and then Jeff Hardy comes off a little better. You know, that'd be good for both people, because Jeff Hardy would obviously be going over, and the other guy would be getting the exposure on TNA television. But you know, they went for two Shannon Moore now. I thought this was a bit wasted. They could have waited to have the Shannon Moore Jeff Hardy thing on an actual pay-per-view, build it up properly so that, you know, there's a little bit of competitive nature between the two. The type of thing they're doing between Anderson and Jeff Hardy now, which is okay, but if it was done with Shannon Moore, I think it would be that little bit better, because, you know, we all have that insider knowledge of them being friends already, so it would mean more to the storyline if that was what they went with. But anyway, this was an okay match. They both know each other very well. They played it very well at the beginning, where Jeff Hardy just couldn't get hold of Shannon Moore. Shannon Moore was just ducking and dodging him always. Shannon Moore had a lot of the offense. They made him look pretty decent, made him look like he's on the same level as Jeff Hardy, and then had Jeff go over on him. Like, during the match, I was still thinking, like, maybe they will have Gregory Helms come out and, like, interfere in this match, but, you know, it never materialised, and Jeff Hardy got the win. It was okay, but it could have been a lot better, in my opinion. Next, Motor City Machine Guns versus Bay Money. Now, the first fall, it was 2 out of 3 falls match, the final in the best of 5 series, so this basically turned into a best of 7 series. But yeah, this was an awesome match for me, 4 stars at least, if I'm going to put it on that sort of scale. They really went at it, really good action. You know, if you've seen any of the matches between these two teams before, you know what they're like. They really know each other's style very well, and they complement each other very well, so this was a fantastic match. I enjoyed it, and like I said, Machine Guns went over and are still the tag team champions, but they sort of did this the wrong way, in my opinion. They built it up with 4 gimmick matches and then finished it with sort of like a standard match. Although it was 2 out of 3 falls, it was just the standard rules. Although it was set a tornado tag during the match, but it was like the rules wasn't. It was a tornado tag because they had to tag in and out, but it was just very loose. But still, you know, no real complaints. It's been a great series, and I was hoping at the end that what they called the Young Bucks, Generation Me, would attack the Machine Guns after the end bell. But you know, it didn't happen. You know, they just went off into the distance, Machine Guns, and that was it. So that would have been a nice way to start off the next feud, in my opinion, having Generation Me come out and attack them, because that would have been a fantastic little feud as well. Young Bucks against Motor City Machine Guns, but you know, who knows what we'll get with that with next, even with them next. Don't know what I'm talking about, sorry. Anyway, Rob Van Dam then beat Abyss in the main event. Janice on... Stay away to Janice match, not a Janice on a pole match. You know what Janice is? It's that wooden 2x4 painted black that's had nails driven through it. Like, personally, I've got no time for this gimmick of this Janice weapon, like, because it's a murder weapon. Let's be honest. That weapon could actually kill somebody with minimum ease. I don't want to see that, like, that used. And when I saw it hung up, like, my first thought was I hope that it doesn't fucking break and fall, because if that does, it's gonna fucking kill one of these guys. You know what I mean? And I don't want to be watching wrestling and having to fear for the wrestlers' lives just because there's a dangerous object hanging above them that could fall at any time. You know, just in my mind, that whole Owen Hart thing was going through my head of, like, if that could break, then this thing could easily fall. But anyway, that didn't happen. Abyss retrieved it, I think. He couldn't, yeah, but then he couldn't quite get Van Dam. It wasn't used. Van Dam then did the Van Terminator. There were some fantastic spots with the barbed wire on the board thing. Now, someone said on one of the comments in the other videos that the barbed wire is just gimmick rubber, but that doesn't take anything away from it, in my opinion. Like, that's like someone writing on it, oh, by the way, they're not actually wrestling, it's all choreographed and they all know what they're doing. Of course, I know that it's not real, like, and we all know it's not real, and we all know that the weapons are sometimes gimmicked, and the fact that the barbed wire was gimmicked, it doesn't take anything away from it, because it looks so good. If they carry it out well, and if it's done well, then it's fantastic. Now, they could have made it out of anything. They could have been made out of tinsel, but if you're going to tell me it's barbed wire, and if it's going to look like barbed wire, then I'm going to really get into it, and I'm going to enjoy it when they use it well. And they did use that well, because, you know, Abyss was in the corner, and Van Dam hit him into the board of barbed wire. Then when he tries to get away from it, he brings the barbed wire with him. I think he had his leg hooks around one of the lower reams of it so that he could drag it out. Realistically, it looked like it was stuck to him. And then Van Dam ended up nailing Abyss down into the corner, putting the board on him with the barbed wire facing him, and then hitting the Van Terminator, got Abyss up, hit him with a 5-star frog splash, and got the win. It was another really good match. Now, Abyss looked really awkward in the ladder spots during the match, and I thought it was a bit of a dodgy thing to put him in, but then, you know, the ending of the match really made it better for me. Then afterwards, they've been plugging this Hulk Hogan surprise all the way through the show, and I was thinking, oh, what's this going to be? I thought he'd come out and say that he was part of there with, you know, Abyss has been saying they told me to do this. I thought he'd come out and say that, but he basically brought out EV 2.0, the ECW guys, and cut the promo like exactly what they did at the end of Hardcore Justice, saying, oh, this was our last chance, blah 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 blah, Tommy Dreamer got on the bike, blah 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 blah. Chatted on about basically nothing. I was thinking, what's this for? Lights go out, we all think it's going to be Sandman, but I was pleasantly surprised that it wasn't Sandman. It was basically TNA guys, the heels. It was Fortune, Matt Morgan, and somebody else who I can't remember, and basically they just beat this shit out of the EV 2.0 guys. Shitloads of weapons, basically just cleaned them out, and it's probably going to build up to a storyline of the next pay-per-view where it's going to be a full card of EV 2.0 guys versus TNA guys. Now that's what everyone wanted at Hardcore Justice. Now we got a better pay-per-view than that at Hardcore Justice. Now we're going to see this one, and I don't think this one's going to be as good as that, but I think it will still be entertaining to see these guys go at it once again. Now also Abyss dragged Rob Van Dam to the back. It didn't show it, but then it showed after the supposed attack, Van Dam on the floor with fake blood all over him, then Abyss holding up Janice, and that to me was actually a really good use of that weapon, because it made it look like he'd used it, but obviously we all know that he didn't. But then again, the effects was there for everyone to see Van Dam out on the floor with blood all over him. You know, it was a really good visual thing. So overall, it was a decent show. The way they plugged it as a free pay-per-view got on my nerves a little bit, but still trying to take my smartness away out of it and trying to be a mark and just enjoy it. I did enjoy it, and altogether I'd say it was like a 6.5 out of 10, 7 out of 10. It was an above average show, it was above average impact, and if they can put on shows like this of this kind of quality every week, then I'll be happy. The only one problem that I do have is that they don't build things up properly enough, and to me, well, to everyone I suppose, you need to build it up properly to make us care. You can throw in any two guys in the world and they can have an awesome match. For example, let's just say Shannon Moore and Jeff Hardy. They both put on a good match to the best of their abilities today. But because it wasn't built up properly, of like, oh, they've got this sort of rivalry going on and all this, it just didn't come out. It didn't come out on the show like in a good match. And also, I heard the news before that Lance Cade has passed away, and 29 years old the guy was. And it's just sad stuff. We don't want to be hearing that Lance Cade's died. 29 years old, and my thoughts go out to his family and that. But yeah. Pro wrestling has taken another victim, hasn't it? That's me for now.